Alright, so welcome everyone to Ethan Messed Up. I don't know how I did. I wish I did so I could ensure it didn't happen in the future. But as far as I can tell, it was simply OBS bugging out randomly halfway through a recording. For those that aren't aware, basically my recording, I don't even want to say corrupted, but about, I'd say, an hour and a half into my recording session, apparently OBS began freaking out. There were spikes in the audio that I had to fix, and the actual recording of the game itself was very choppy and glitchy. And I'm not sure why, because as I was playing I have OBS on the second screen so I can watch it. And the preview of the recording had none of those issues. It was running just fine. So I don't know what caused it. I'm not sure how to fix it or ensure it doesn't happen again. I can only hope it doesn't, and maybe one of you guys will know what happened and be able to tell me how to avoid the problem. I'm not sure. In any case, however, the primary issue was simply that I didn't feel comfortable putting out the roughly probably more like 2.5 after editing, 2.5 hours of content out as separate episodes because they were subpar. The actual video recordings were not up to the standards that I want the channel to have. But at the same time, the idea of re-recording it all seemed very, not even tedious, because I wouldn't mind doing it. It wouldn't take me that long to go through it all again. And it's not that big of an issue. However, I feel like, personally, this is the weakest area of the campaign, easily. It really picks up after Chapter 1, I've been told from several of the friends that have been watching. And when I asked for their opinions, they've been watching as well, and their votes were basically to just continue on. But I didn't want to put them up as separate episodes, so I put them all into one mega episode, quote unquote, that has come up alongside this video. And that video will be up for anyone that wants to listen to it, most likely. I doubt anyone will be able to stand watching it for long periods of time, but someone might want to play it in the background while they write or they do something else. It works fine as like an audio storytelling podcast thing, and you would be able to get all the references, all the little narrations and conversations with Dorna and all that. But for those of you that don't have 2.5 hours to just sit down and listen to a video that I posted up that is subpar, I can't blame you at all. This video will be up. And this is basically just a short narration video with an almost slideshow, I think, kind of like I do for the character introductions. And it's just going to be a general summary of what happened between the last video that wasn't buggy and corrupted and weird up to the point that I'm at now, which is back at Drogon's after having defeated Jeddah. So that will give you all the basic information. You won't miss any plot points if you watch this. You'll only miss the fun little side stuff that happens throughout the detailed playthroughs. So I wanted both up just so that whoever wants to watch it can watch it. And for those that just want to skip over, they can just watch this one and have a general idea of what's going on and move on with their lives. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I again apologize. If anyone knows what might have happened, by all means, let me know, because I'd rather not have this happen again. If it does happen again, I will re-record it, because I refuse to have this happen twice in one playthrough. Hopefully it was just a one-off bug, and we won't have the issue anymore. But yeah. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you enjoy this short little summary. Have a fantastic day. After entering the home, Victor met an older man that refused to offer nor ask for a name. The man was a skilled mage and hermit, holding a decent stock of magical items, scrolls, potions, and similar items. Making a purchase for a powerful magical bag that reduced weight significantly, however, was Victor's only purchase. Instead, he made a note to return once they had finished most of their business with more funds. The man had quite an arsenal that he was interested in, several powerful enchanted items that contained charges of spells, something that only Drogon had managed to give him so far. After leaving, Victor and Dorna would then separate from the Knoll Cave to instead explore another, smaller cave above it. Inside, there was another threat, as well as gold and other treasures. The cave, full of wormlings, was dealt with carefully. Here Victor and Dorna both would have a close brush with death, a reminder that even the weakest of the dragon species were not to ever be underestimated. After taking a bit of time in order to properly recover, Victor would enter the Knoll Caves with Dorna close behind. Though initial entry was relatively easy, Victor and Dorna both began to quickly realize the opposition within the caves was by far more threatening than even the little wyverns. A painstaking process began of slowly clearing out the gnolls with several close brushes with death. Within the caves, they would find the survivors of Blumberg, enslaved by the gnolls. Freeing and protecting them, as well as giving them gold to get back on their feet. This would help ease Victor's conscience, and help him to stay his wrath against the gnolls and kobolds. This would be key, as by exploring the caves, Victor would find a group of the captured kobolds that, with a deal for them to help him in battle, he would spare. After this, Victor would go forth to meet the chieftain of the gnolls, whom, surprisingly, would offer him a deal. They would help him to battle Jannar, and in return he could no longer attack them or steal from them. Victor held his tongue, addressing the fact that anything the gnolls had, they had stolen themselves. Agreeing to the deal, only so that he could use the evil creatures to his own ends and weaken them, so that he could finish the job of ending them later, Victor would agree, and head down into the ruins below. Here he would face a fairly basic, but still incredibly dangerous puzzle. Forced to do battle with 4 separate elementals, nearly losing both their lives on each as they struggled against the powerful planar beings. When the door finally would open, Victor and Dorna were able to finally face the powerful sorceress, Jannar. With this, Victor would carefully lead the woman along under the false pretense of an alliance against the dragon, Tyrannofar. She would summon up a canister that would transform the user into a powerful frost giant temporarily as a means to kill the great dragon. With a method to deal with him in hand, Victor would instead turn on the woman immediately as she handed it over, spraying Jannar with the powder that Tyrannofar had given him. Severely weakened, along with the help from the gnolls, Jannar was quickly slain. Then, injured and caught off guard, the Gnoll chieftain attempted to congratulate Victor on their victory. He would instead find himself struck down by the wizard's spells. Though Victor took no joy in the action of betrayal, he had no regret in purging the area of the gnolls willing to massacre and enslave the lands around them, as well as the sorceress leading them. His only concern was whomever she had been serving, but this was a problem for a future time. Finally, with both the Gnoll threats and Jannar removed, Victor was free to lay claim to all of her makeshift laboratory, as well as anything in her study. Here, he would find an odd and ancient mystical creature, bound to the ruins themselves, far older than Jannar. The creator must have been the one that made the runes in the first place. Feeding it a spell, it would teleport them out, allowing the next chapter of their journey to begin. It was time to return to Drogon and Aella, and then slay an evil young dragon. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos and don't want to miss out on future content, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. If you'd like to support me on a more personal level, offer recommendations, chat with me, or vote on future series, then consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you once again for all your support, and I can't wait to see you in the next chapter of our story.